Alright, we got a Coachman Class C right here. This bunk is rotted out. Look at there. It's ready to come right out too. You can see, you can all smell that. We need smell-o-vision. Then we get comments below where people say, hey, can you have that guy put some deodorant on? Smell-o-vision's killing me. That's what we're working on. We're going to do the roof as well. Let's see if we get up there and show you how bad that roof is. But this is all rotted out too. Still see the moisture in there. So we're going to have to dry it out once we pull it apart. We got everything all padded right here. We do that. We got it padded inside. All sorts of padding. But we just want to protect everybody's coaches. So that's what we're working on right now. Alright, this is our Coachman. The Coachman Santera, or something along that lines. What we're doing now is just taking the roof up. We were working on, this is the same one we're doing the bunk. We're doing the bunk on this. So, all these luggage rails and racks will be coming off. We'll get rid of all that. Just kind of give you an overview of what we're going on here. So right now we're just trying to tear the roof up. But a lot of the issues are up front here, which started that rot on the bunk. That's what we're doing, just tearing it up, getting it out of here. See, someone put a coating on this. These coatings don't last. That's why we don't do a coating. It's just not going to stay. And you see how low the air conditioner is right there. Got a little bubble up in the front there. And what they want you to do at the RV manufacturer, the centers, when they do your roof, even if it's brand new, they're going to want you to go around and doll all this up again. That's what they want you to keep layering more and more and more. You know, and the only ones that are putting more on is a moron. You don't need to keep doing that. It's kind of like always having to put air in your tires. So, but this thing is about ready for a new roof. And I'll get one here this week at RV Roof Install. That's what we're doing now, just ripping up all the rubber roofing off. That's a really thin product too. It is super thin. And there's the bunk that we're tearing apart. That's, you can see it's starting to get some water coming down there and then the front there. And there are other issues that really cause this to fail. I'll show you that when we get down there, but I don't know if I can right here. Very limited structure in this framing. So if it had more framing into it, it probably would have held up a little better, but they're getting real cheap. They don't even want to put extra structure in there that you should have, because it'll get past a year and then after that it's your problem. When they manufacturers and when they know your RV has hit 364 days, 11 hours and 59 minutes, they're jumping for joy. We'll be back with more from RV Roof Install on this Coachman. Alright, this is our Coachman. What is this? Serrana, whatever it's called here. What is this thing called? Santera. It's a Santera. This is the one we've been working on. So we got the bunk floor out. The thing was rotted bad. We already showed you that. You can see we got a lot of rot issues on the side here. So now, you also notice on here that this is pretty rotted right here. There it goes. We're trying to dry it. We got this fan right here. Trying to dry it out so we can at least make some cuts or something. It's a lot easier to cut it when it's dry than when it's all mushy. So we're going to see if we can peel out a piece. We'll see how that goes. Then obviously got to put some new sheathing behind here and get that all squared away. And then get the same problem over there. We'll rebuild the top here. We got that aluminum frame up on there and we'll rebuild that and pull all that out tomorrow. So, so we put all these blockers in here if you're looking at those. What those are is just so when we're working, we don't want stuff to get in your coach. So we do that, we wrap everything. You can see I got, you know, this blanket right here to cover the seats. We want to protect everything. So that's important to us. We know the coaches are important to you, so that's why we do it. Then when we go on the top side, we do the same thing. And I'll show you the top side. We got some issues up there, so I'm heading up the stairs. Let's see. So if you come in our shop, we've got all these scaffolds. You walk right around your coach. You can see you can walk around everything, and then you don't have to climb up on a ladder to get up there to take a look either. We got a nice set of stairs right here. Let's come over here. Let's take a look at this roof. Oh wow, that deck is delaminated bad. Again, more blowers. Trying to try this thing out so we can peel it up. We're gonna have to redeck it. That is got some rot in here too. Right in here. The lamination way down here. That's all delaminated down this side wall. We're gonna see what we can do with that. This thing is rough. You know? So we got all this flaking and peeling up here. So we'll have to redeck this and get that all back, because you'll probably see some of those up underneath the roof and it would just look crummy. We don't want to do that. We want to be a nice looking roof when we're done with it. So that's what we got so far. We're going to end up putting plates like we put on the undersides. You can see right there. We're going to be putting them on here so we don't step through a hole or something, just for our own safety, but we put them in there. And that's about it so far. So we'll see what she looks like tomorrow. And hopefully we get this thing all dried out where we can actually get some work done on it. That's about it. This is our Coachman. This is our update so far here at RV Roof Install. But check out our YouTube channel, our website, rvroofinstall.com, where you give us a call, 423-475-7663. That's 423-475-ROOF. And if you have any questions or anything, we'd be glad to help you out, point you in the right direction, get more delamination here. We're going to see how we can navigate around that. Sometimes we can go in and re-epoxy some stuff, but we won't know until it actually dries out, see the condition of it. You know, that looks pretty dry in there though, so that's a plus. More to come. All right, working on this Class C Coachman right here. This is the wall I showed you the other day, how rotted out it was. What we're trying to do, we already got the piece loose. And boy, what a task it was to get this thing out. It was a lot of work. See if you can pull it out from the top here. The son of a gun is in there.
Yeah, there's a metal. It's basically set in metal here at the bottom, trying to push it towards the edge.
We're gonna see if we can.
For some reason it ain't breaking loose underneath there. Don't make sense.
All right, let's see. Here we go.
Alrighty. Just hang
This is what we got on there. See? There's how bad it's rotted.
Yeah.
We gotta tear all that and put it all back. Gee whiz, what a lot of work that is. We gotta stitch it all back in there. And that's not too bad at all. That's solid. So that's good. All right, so we got the other one out on the other side too. So we got this one out here. So we got to rebuild both of these sides. That's where we're at so far. More to come. All right, there's our Coachman, this Class C that we've been working on. We had some damage in the back, and what we're doing now is just getting, that's mold kill that we're spraying on there. We just want to make sure there's nothing under there. And then we're going to relaminate this roof. We're going to soak it down, and once it dries, then we can get working with it. So, and we just stitched down a little piece under here. It looked like it was sticking up. So it's just shear strap that they use at the RV centers or the manufacturers. And it's a piece of metal. It's a piece of metal that runs along the whole edge right there to kind of, again, for shear factor, meaning racking and kind of hold it together. It's an extra they put in there. So, but once that cures out, or dries out, then we're going to be putting the decking on. This is the wall piece to our Coachman over here. It goes right in there. That's where it goes. What you're looking at is a slide out. But what we had to do, if you remember the old one, we had to rebuild all of this. So we rebuilt all of this, glued it, and put it all back together. Then we had to laminate the fiberglass back on. And we got one side in. So this side that you're looking at right there, that's the slide out. And then we've already got this one side in over this side right here. And again, that's what we're doing over here. We still have to set the floor, the platform up there. And then we've got the radius assembly already made up. And we've got new radiuses up at the top. We added them way at the top. You can see them right there. We added those to give it more strength. That's what basically caused a lot of this to fall apart. So this piece that we're going to put in is going to sit right on this wall. And then the fiberglass side that you can see that we're looking at will be out here. And we're going to fasten it all back in. And then, like I said, the platform will go on, and then we'll get everything all back together. We got all this junk out of here, so we'll have to get that all back together. You can see this is the frame, and then this is would be inside the coach. So we got to get this assembly put back together. So obviously we got still a little bit to do. I just want to give you an update on where we're at, and so we'll be back with more once we get more to show you. This is our Coachman Class C that we're working on. You can see we're getting all this glue down. We've already got these ones set. And that's what we do, is we set some cinder blocks out just to make sure it gets set. We don't like to use fasteners, so we're going to wait. Once those are all set over there, then we just take those cinder blocks and just keep leapfrogging them. But you can see that we've plenty of adhesive on there. We'll be back. Alright, so we're trying to get the Coachman all put together here, and we're about ready to put this front. We got the insulation in there. We'll get that on there. We're going to have to put the insulation in from the other side, from that lower end right there on the bunk. That's our Coachman so far. There's our Coachman. Mostly that's where, when the girls do the videos, they know what video we're got on what coach. So now we're pulling this back. We've got one side already glued over here, so we're going to pull this back. You can see we've got our protective strips on here, and they go obviously across where the sheathing comes together, and also on the edge. This protects the main roof from this sharpness right here. They just had tape on there before, so then we also got the bunk back together. That's good news, because it was a bugger. Got the window back in. And we just got to put a window in here. We get the front pylon already on there, lights on, everything else. So we've got all that. Built the platform. We've got some new insulation right in there on the inside, so we're just going to have to put a piece of Luan up in there to trim it out so it looks nice. And like I said, everything else is coming together. One of the things we had trouble with on this, I don't even know if you can see it. I'm going to try and step back. I'm trying to hold this camera as steady as I can. This has quite the slope to it. So we were trying to get this son of a gun put together, and we were doing measurements. Obviously you can't put a level on there. We're trying to find out where the problem is. So I said the heck with it, and this is about an inch lower than this side. And it must be this slide out really pulling on this suspension. Because when I measured everything else, we took it off actually the mirrors. We took it off of body lines to see if it was true. And the camper and the part that we built, the bunk, is all where it should be. But it's just the camper itself has a lean to the left. But it was, that's a little over an inch, about an inch and a quarter. So it kind of threw us off a bit to double take and triple take with some measurements to make sure that we're not making it go off. Because sometimes when these come apart, they'll want to sag and settle, and you got to bring them back where they're supposed to be, so you don't end up with issues like that. So, but anyhow, that's what that is. It's the coach, but it's an oldie. We'll get it down. So right now, what they're doing is putting up all the glue and the adhesive. Then we'll wait for that to flash off. Pull the roofing over. Then we have that big heavy roller. We'll roll over it with that, and then the curbs go on, and we start welding and putting everything else back together. So we'll be back with our Coachman. There's our Coachman. Mostly that's where, when the girls do the videos, they know what video we're got on what coach. So now we're pulling this back. We've got one side already glued over here, so we're going to pull this back. You can see we've got our protective strips on here, and they go obviously across where the sheathing comes together, and also on the edge. This protects the main roof from this sharpness right here. They just had tape on there before, so then we also got the bunk back together. That's good news, because it was a bugger. Got the window back in. And we just got to put a window in here. We get the front pylon already on there, lights on, everything else. So we've got all that. Built the platform. We've got some new insulation right in there on the inside, so we're just going to have to put a piece of Luan up in there to trim it out so it looks nice. And like I said, everything else is coming together. One of the things we had trouble with on this, I don't even know if you can see it. I'm going to try and step back. I'm trying to hold this camera as steady as I can. This has quite the slope to it. So we were trying to get this son of a gun put together, and we were doing measurements. Obviously you can't put a level on there. We're trying to find out where the problem is. So I said the heck with it, and this is about an inch lower than this side. And it must be this slide out really pulling on this suspension. Because when I measured everything else, we took it off actually the mirrors. We took it off of body lines to see if it was true. And the camper and the part that we built, the bunk, is all where it should be. But it's just the camper itself has a lean to the left. But it was, that's a little over an inch, about 1.25 inches. So it kind of threw us off a bit to double take and triple take with some measurements to make sure that we're not making it go off. Because sometimes when these come apart, they'll want to sag and settle, and you got to bring them back where they're supposed to be, so you don't end up with issues like that. So, but anyhow, that's what that is. It's the coach, but it's an Ole. We'll get it down. So right now, what they're doing is putting up all the glue and the adhesive. Then we'll wait for that to flash off. Pull the roofing over. Then we have that big heavy roller. We'll roll over it with that, and then the curbs go on, and we start welding and putting everything else back together. So we'll be back with our Coachman. Here's our Coachman update. And actually, if you're looking in our shop, we did have that Coachman over here, but I had to get this big coach in here and start getting it prepped, and so we moved it over. That's all we did. So we got the bunk rebuilt. We got the roof on. We got everything heat welded. Got our termination bar on. Just put the first strike. That's the first strike of the caulking on there, on that section. Then we've got our antenna. We haven't sealed around it yet, but we'll need to seal around it and get that squared away. So this is what it looks like so far. We got all our boots poured. That's portable sealer. So we've got all that. Then we had some delamination in here, and we reset that already. Same on the southern side. Southern side was even worse, so we get that all back on this one. So obviously we still got to finish up, get all the vents on, get the food off the roof, or eat it. Again, first strike right here. That right there, see that jaundice color? That right there, that's a special primer we use, and it helps pull the caulking in. Got a crack cover. We're going to try and see if we can stitch that back together. But otherwise, we're about ready to roll. Coachman, we are done. Got the bunk rebuilt. One of the other things that cause a lot of issues is that little gasket that goes in there. They call it a glazing. It's a rubber glazing. We take it out, and that's fully loaded with urethane. Well, this is us. Got all our curbs in. Everything heat welded. Got 2 layers on here. 60 mil is the thickness of this roof. It's a 60 mil TPO, thermoplastic. Make these special curbs up. You can see we heat weld. All of that is all heat welded. That's a 3-inch flange on there. We heat weld all of that together. We put these other flanges on the top as well, like right there. What that does is, if you're coming in a storm or something and the water really wants to try to drive up, it'll have to hit that fin up there, that flange, and then it gets diverted out. So we can't get up on top or anything. So we got the same one for the air conditioner. We got our stands in the back. Here's our Coachman. She is done. Right, so we rebuilt the bunk. Then around the window, there's usually a rubber glazing, they call it. Those always leak. So we took it out and we sealed all of that with urethane. So it's solid now. Obviously sealed the tops of these lights here. Got 2 layers of caulking running down here. Got all our curbs on. Now this roofing material, this is a 60 mil commercial grade roofing material. Same product you're gonna find on a hotel, you'll find on an office building, a restaurant, that type of thing. Structured means it has a weave in it. That is good for impacts like hail or even tree limbs for that matter. And if you did get a tree limb hit the roof, we can do a heat weld patch just much like we did the curb. So we built all these curbs. It's got a 3-inch skirt that goes around it, all heat welded. That's a 3-inch weld in there. There's also a flange on the top side of that. So when water tries to roll across, if you get caught in a storm and it wants to try to even push up, heavy wind or something wants to try to push it up that curb, there's a flange over there. See it right there. That's the flange. They all have them. Same thing here. Then on the air conditioner, we put a piece of flashing detail in the front here. And we do that because the air conditioner, you can see it always sits closest on the front. The sides, you got plenty of room. The back, we got plenty of room. But on the front, so if that water starts coming down, I don't want it to try to trickle back. So now it'll have to go down, hit there, and it'll have to flow to the back. That's a flashing detail we put in. We did the same for the antenna, another flashing flange on there. Even here, you can see this is a refrigerator. Got one here. Again, this is 3 inches right here. Now there's a TPO product called thermoplastic. It's a GAF brand, awesome, awesome product. Got some stands in the back here, balance out the air conditioner. Everything is done. We made these special boots up. Now these boots, they're, take this off here so you can see. So this is just a bell cap that obviously tucks in. So there's your plumbing pipe, and then we load all that, and it stays flexible like this. That's it. You never have to mess with that again. It's done. That just dresses it out a little bit. That's all that does. We got 2 layers of caulking going right down all of the transitions here, the termination. This is considered a termination, that little piece of metal. So we got 2 layers on there. There's a primer on there, a special primer we use. You can probably barely see it, that little goldish jaundice. That's what it is. And then what we do after we get the roof all done is we brand it so everybody knows it's our roof, but we also put the month, we put the year, so now we can keep track of it. This coach is going to come back every year so we can inspect it. Doesn't cost them any money to do that. Come on back and we'll check the whole thing out. Any adjustments it needs at all, we'll take care of it. And that's the whole idea. You don't want to do these things twice. They're too expensive. So that's our Coachman right there. I think on the earlier on one of the videos, it's just coming to my mind now. On one of the videos, I was showing that we had a little discrepancy on the elevation. I think it was some of the lean when they built the bunk. So what we did, we trimmed it all out. I don't know if you can see, there you go. And then we fixed that bottom portion there as it rolls around. Put a decal in there. We redid all that. So we filled it in with an epoxy, and then we put that piece on there so it looks good. Everything's been double sealed all up on here, all the way around the corner molds. Everything's all double sealed. These things, you know, they rack and twist a lot when they go down the road, so I want to make sure that thing stays tight. It stays tight. That's our Coachman. Log on to our website, rvroofinstall.com, and you can also go to our YouTube channel. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can go see us on Facebook. You can see some reviews and read some reviews about us. You can see even some more videos up there as well. But there's a lot on our YouTube channel on different things that we rebuild. We do a lot of rebuilds. We do a lot of obviously roof systems and things like that. So if you have something falling apart that you want to bring back to life, this is the shop to bring it to. You give us a call, 423-475-7663. Thanks for watching.